All right, we are live with our 5 Weeks to Freedom Masterclass. Thank you guys for carving out some self-care time tonight to join us. This session is actually part of my Mind Fuel Academy and our 5 Weeks to Freedom, because we want you to be free in your mind first before everything else, right? So my name is Dr. Payne. I am with Rejuvenate Health and Wellness Centers. And I'm going to talk a little bit about and kind of tie in what we've been talking about the last couple of sessions. Last week, we talked about taking action over analysis, meaning we drag our feet, right? And we overthink things. So we have what's called analysis paralysis. So Paul mentioned on that video about having 3 key goals a day that you can implement to help you take action. He also talked about OODA, OODA, and I don't know if you guys have heard of that before, but that stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. So I would encourage you to go back and watch that video. Paul had a wealth of information. Tonight, we will be talking about procrastination and overwhelm, 2 of the biggest things that keep us down and keep us from taking action. And I have with me tonight Ms. Tiffenny Montique, and she has a very impressive resume. I'm going to read a little bit about her. She is from Texas, so she's actually from Mansfield. And she is a life coach and a health coach. She's also a yoga and spiritual teacher, and she's a Reiki master and teacher. I met her at a retreat that our clinic did in December, and ever since then, we all have been in love with her. So that's why you see her sitting in front of you today. Now, she is an entrepreneur. She's an owner of Abhati LLC. Did I say that right? Abhati?
It's Abhati.
Abhati, okay. Now, the way that got started is she, ever since the 90s, has always had a love affair with yoga. But she suffered a lumbar injury, and it affected her so much where she was unable to walk for about 3 weeks, right? And so she was faced with the possibility of having to have surgery. But she implemented some natural techniques. She implemented chiropractic, yay. And she implemented acupuncture, yoga, and energy healing. And so she used those things to regain her life and get her life back. So I want to talk to her about that tonight, and also tying that into procrastination, okay? So thank you, Tiffenny, for joining me.
I'm excited to be here.
You are where? You are located where right now, though?
So right now I am in the process of relocating. I work out of my home. I have a private studio in my home.
Okay.
And I am getting ready to move out of my home into a space. So that should be available this summer. And yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Cool. Awesome. So from your experience, especially with your back injury, you committed to making sure that others reap the benefits that you reaped. Kind of tell people about how you want them to live Abhati, and tell us what that means and how that helps your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So Abhati means to live in the light. It means to live magnificently, and it means to live in your truth. So it is a Sanskrit word that is a compilation of all of those things. And when I ran across the word, I was meditating a lot for the right business name. And I wanted to make sure that my business name reflected everything that I wanted for my life, mm-hmm. and everything for the clients that I work with. And it presented itself to me at the right time. Absolutely perfect. So
nice. And it's definitely a reflection of who you are. So to have others want to live authentically, I think choosing that name was definitely authentic to you. So kind of tell me, you also have 2 other projects, and one really stemmed from your treatments that you had to get you through your lumbar pain that you were experiencing, Soul Star Journey. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Mhm. Yeah. So just to share a little bit of my story. So as you mentioned, I have a lumbar injury and I do a lot of holistic and health and wellness practices to help me stay in alignment and to stay balanced and stay on my feet. But the reason that I have this injury in the first place really kind of goes into procrastination. So when we talk about that, I'll share more about that in more detail, but it was procrastination that caused me to end up with the injury in the first.
Okay.
Um, but when I had that injury and I actually got through that process and worked through all of the actual healing that I had to go through, both mental and physical healing, when I got to the other side of that, that was when I actually ended up creating Soul Star Journey. So
Oh,
Soul is really about tapping into any trauma that you have in your life and working through your inner child experiences to unravel the things that have happened in your past that you carry forward into your adult life, and those things are crippling you or preventing you from moving ahead. And Soul Star Journey is to walk you through that process of let's investigate the inner child, let's heal the inner child, let's grow the adult, and then let's help manifest the future.
okay. So yeah, tell us about how procrastination played a role in that.
So, uh,
Yeah, you swallowed like that's the story.
and I recovered procrastinator.
Okay.
So the how it happened was when I was 25 years old, I fell down a flight of concrete stairs head first. But what got me to that point of falling down that flight of concrete stairs was I was someone who would always find something else to do other than what I should be doing at the moment I should be doing it.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yes.
It was 7:30 in the morning. I needed to be to work at 8 o'clock. The day before that, my supervisor had pulled me into her office and told me, "Hey, Tiffany, if you show up late for work one more time, I'm going to have to let you go." Now, I thought that would have been the wake up call for me to get my butt up and get out the
Right.
door, work on time. But, I lollygagged around and did some dishes and put on a load of laundry and swept the floor and took the garbage out. And the next thing I know, I look up at the clock and I'm like, oh, shoot, I have 15 minutes to get to work and work is 25 minutes away.
Uh-oh.
So I jump in my car, and I'm high speed driving through Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And it's the end of September, beginning of October at the time. And Wisconsin, snow state. So we had just had our first snowfall. So I'm trying not to get a speeding ticket. I'm trying not to my brakes too hard, slide across the street, and I'm trying to get to work on time. Well, I work on time. I have 5 minutes to get upstairs to my desk. But I decide I'm gonna go downstairs and get a cup of coffee first. Makes absolutely sense. Go to your desk, log in, let everybody see you, then go get
Then
your
go
coffee.
get the coffee, right?
No. Me procrastinating, I go downstairs instead and my foot hits a patch of ice and then I go falling head first down a flight of stairs.
Wow.
Now, people behind me, they all reached out, they tried to grab me. I tried to grab onto the handrails, nothing worked, and I hit the bottom. Wow. Now, you would have thought that would have taught me to wake up, pay attention, stop procrastinating, do things I'm supposed to. No, I still spent another 10 years procrastinating. And it took me to understand the reason why I procrastinated from to resolve my procrastination. We all procrastinate at some point or the other. We all have our own personal reasons for why we do it. But my reasons more often or not is because I'm doing something I really don't want to do in the first place. Right. I hated that job. I knew I hated that job. It was like death going in there every single day. And instead of going to find another job, I just showed up late.
Dragging your feet. Yeah, because you didn't want to be there.
I didn't want to be there. Where else but here?
So even working with clients, and you do work with entrepreneurs too, right? A small business owner. And do you see procrastination as being a constant theme in a lot of, like say a lot of business owners want to do certain things, but there's something that's making them drag their feet. What have you seen just working with clients?
So there's a lot of things that I see more often than not. I hear fear of the unknown, right? That's a big one that causes people to procrastinate. They don't know what's going to happen in the future. And so we spend a lot of time working on the power of intention. You can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. You can manifest it. You can put it in motion. You can speak distance, but you cannot necessarily control the tomorrow. You can set yourself up to be in a good place to receive tomorrow, but you can't. And so it's that fear of the unknown. Comparing yourself to other people. So you're so busy worried about what everyone else is doing and watching what everyone else is doing and trying to figure out how they're doing it. You're not focused on doing what you need to be doing for yourself.
Right. So the focus isn't where it should be.
The focus is not where it should be. Lack of clarity. You're not really quite sure what you should be doing, so you don't do anything, right? When what you should be doing is spending more time researching and educating yourself.
Right.
Go wisdom need to get over that hurdle.
Right. Now, that's one of the things that we talked about in the other session. Paul mentioned, he said, it's important for you to get clarity, like you're saying, right? But sometimes the clarity and waiting on it to come is what's keeping you from moving forward. So sometimes the clarity comes as you start to move, right? So do you see that too to be true?
Yes. I mean, so as an energy healer, the first thing that you learn when you start to do energy work is that energy is movement. It's always moving, right? There's always this flow, this flow of energy. You never want the energy to be stagnant. And you can never turn it off. You can turn it down or you can turn it up. When you're doing things in your life that are prohibiting you from moving ahead, you're turning your flow of energy down and you're making it stagnant. So you want to do things that push that flow of energy forward. It should always be moving forward.
Right.
Always be direction.
Right. And so what are some of the tools that you have to help people to move forward? Is it the energy work that you're talking about?
So some of it is energy work. A lot of it is really teaching people how to meditate, how to meditate, to tap into their internal self, that internal knowledge, that internal wisdom that we all have the ability tap into. And depending on what you believe, it may be, tapping into that God experience and having those conversations with God. It may be tapping into your connection with your guides and talking with them and getting that information. So whatever that is for you, teaching you how to meditate on it so that you can listen and that you can hear it and that you can receive it and that you can bring it back into your everyday life.
Nice, nice. One of the things that I'm learning as I get deeper into this work, and which, by the way, I would love to work with you. That was me making an appointment. One of the things that I learned is that when you get stuck in certain thinking, especially this negative thinking that we have with ourselves, we're closing ourselves off to that innate intelligence that you're talking about, that innate wisdom. Like you're not open to having a vision, or you're not open to fresh ideas. You're just closed and shut down. So we all have that. If you are a procrastinator and you do drag your feet, don't get frustrated. There are ways for you to actually deal with that. And it's not something that you can fix overnight. It's a daily practice, right? It's something that you do every day.
and do something,
yes.
right?
Yes.
I think that people, when they procrastinate, they do nothing. They put back burner, they let it sit there. They create a lot of stress and anxiety in their body because they know they still have to get it done. In the long run, it still to be done. Even if I don't, even if I don't want to go, even if I don't want to be there, I've probably already committed to it. I know the deadline is coming up. I have it put on the calendar. It's marked in my phone. It's coming up. Now I'm stressed out. It's the day I waited to the last minute. Now I don't have time to even do a good job.
Right.
And so now a half job.
Right.
Just get it done.
It just keeps, right? It just keeps rolling.
Yes. Spiral. So even if you find yourself in that moment,
right,
just break it down into small bits. Do something
to move you closer to it. Do you find that especially, and this kind of can be tied to health, but do you feel like some people have a sense of perfectionism where everything has to be just perfect and right, and then I can move? You can tie that into health too. Like everything has to be right. My kids got to be out of school. Da, 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 da. Tell me what you think about perfectionism.
Oh yeah. So yeah, my name is Tiffenny and I am a recovered perfectionist.
Me too.
Perfect. And no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There's more power in something being done than there is in something being perfect, because something slightly imperfect has the power to be modified, changed,
Right.
grown, done different. You did it bad the first time, maybe it's a learning process. It's a lesson, you know how to do it better next time. Right. So don't get caught up in perfectionism, because perfectionism is the antithesis to completion. It's going to stop you.
Say it. That's a word right there. Look, can I write that down? That is so true. It really is. So let's kind of shift over to overwhelm. So in my field, I hear the word overwhelm. So for example, I'll say, so-and-so, have you done your stretches that I prescribed to you? And and I'm acknowledging the fact that yes, we do have a lot going on. Yes, we do. But I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much going on. And do you feel like overwhelm is really a thing? Or is there a time management issue? What are your thoughts on just the concept of just I'm overwhelmed?
So again, if we go back to understanding the why, the why you got yourself to that space of feeling overwhelmed, the chances are, one, you're not very good at self-care. Do it. Really taught you about self-care, because if you knew how to do self-care, something that had to do with taking care of your physical body would never be overwhelming.
Okay.
If you knew how to put you first, that would be overwhelming. Right? The second is, again, I really don't want to do it in the first place. I just don't want to do it. Yeah. But I'm going to tell my doctor I don't want to do her crappy exercises. Right?
Come on now. Telling the truth over here. Right.
They will have you crack my back and send me home, and they feel perfect. Like it's so there's this concept of sometimes people don't want to do things because they feel like it's too hard. Right. You're making it hard for yourself because you've created these stories in your head that have created this experience of overwhelm because you feel like it's too hard. Or and I don't really remember exactly how to do those exercises she just told me how to do. Maybe she said, do my foot this way. I don't remember. I'm just not going to do it.
Hey, I help with that now. I give videos to go. I thought about that one. No, but no, you're right. Either you just don't want to do it, or you're. Now, here's the other thing. Overwhelmed too could be a crutch, saying that you're overwhelmed. What do you think about that? Sounds like it can be an excuse.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're good as within the human experience, we're good at creating excuses for ourselves, right? To get ourselves off the hook being responsible for the things we should be doing.
Right.
I remember being in college and I was going through this kind of pledge thing. I never joined a sorority or anything, but I joined this Sisters of Alpha Phi Alpha organization, right?
Uh-huh.
And we learn different prose and poetry. And one of them was excuses are skills of incompetencies that build bridges to nowhere. And those who use these tools of incompetencies are fools and masters of nothing. And so when you are creating excuses for yourself, you are setting a match to your bridge for your future. Plain and simple.
Wow. I like that. You're going to have to send it to me so I can post that. That is true. So when it comes to procrastination and just feeling overwhelmed, sometimes what feeds that is the fear, like you talked about. Sometimes it's doubt, right? You're doubting what you need to do, so you toss it aside. Are there any other ways that, or anything that you can think of that can help people work their way through procrastination and overwhelm? Any other tips?
Yeah. So you brought up a good one, doubt, right? And this is where going through that inner child process and understanding the things that have happened in your past that have doubt in your life or have created that experience of lack of self-worth in your life. That comes from somewhere. Almost every single time that I've worked with someone and we started to work through this, it's always something that's happened in our past. Even if we look at things like people who have money mindset blocks, something that happened in your past has created that mindset block for you. And in most cases, it's our parents. And not to put, the blame on parents, because I'm a parent myself.
Right.
Some don't be pointing the finger. It's my mom's fault.
Right.
But our parents sometimes are not aware that the words that they use when they talk to us are creating a little titanium wall around us.
Right.
And it's stopping us from living our truth, right?
Right.
For example, I'll share this. My mom used to always say, well, we can't afford that right now. I'm a single mom. We can't afford that right now.
Mm-hmm.
As I grew up, my mindset was always, I can't afford that right now. I can't right now. That $80 top, I really like it, but I can't afford that right now. Okay, I was making six figures and of course I can afford an $80 top. Right. That block had been created so many years ago. I had to work myself through getting past it and first identifying that I had it. Right. To train myself to overcome it.
Right. So what is your ideal client, or if someone wanted to get in touch with you for your life and health coaching, who would be a good match for you, and how would they get in touch with you?
Well, first and foremost, somebody who wants to do the work.
Okay, I like it.
I not deal with people who show up and think that this is going to be easy and are not ready to do the work. And come into it with the understanding that it's not always going to be comfortable, but I can teach you how to deal in uncomfortable times, because that's one thing that we don't always learn as children is how to deal with life's uncomfortable moments.
Right.
And there's so many of them, but we've never been taught how to do it. I generally, more often than not, the majority of my clients are women. I do have a couple of male clients, but the majority of my clients are women. The majority of my clients are women who are looking to start businesses for themselves. Some of them don't know that that's the journey that they're on. Some of them clearly know, but they can't understand why they're blocked from getting there. A lot of them, I spend a lot of time with women that have experienced trauma.
Okay.
And so though that's the group, and more often than not, they're between the ages of 35 and 50.
Okay.
That's where they are. Doesn't mean I wouldn't see everybody,
right.
But that's
generally what they are. Okay. And how would they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so they can find me on all social media outlets at Tiffenny Montique, TiffennyMontique, on all social media outlets, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at www.tiffennymontique.com.
Perfect. Lady,
Yes.
you are a wealth of knowledge. You have a gift. I'm glad God has blessed you with it, and you have blessed us tonight. And you continue to bless me. So thank you so much. So I want to remind you guys too that next week we'll be doing the next session. It'll be next Monday, same time, same place. We'll be talking about getting out of our own way. So we're working our way through all of these blocks and obstacles to help you be free and begin the process of being free. So I hope you guys enjoyed this interview with Miss Tiffenny. Thank you, Tiffenny, for taking time out of your schedule to join me. And you guys have a wonderful